In this video, me and my friend attempt to survive 900 days in hardcore Minecraft. Last episode, we built a super smelter, more efficient iron farm, and set up a world eater. Today, we build a mega gold farm, make a new food farm, and improve the look of our world as day 1000 is just around the corner. It's day 801 and we are back with a huge crater behind us which we probably should sort out. So we jumped down and took some damage, completely disregarding that if either of us die, this world is deleted forever. But anyway, we then poured water over the lava. Once it was turned into obsidian, we began mining it. And eventually finished mining it. Once the ground was clear of lava and water, we turned on the world eater again and then left it to go to work while we took care of things down on the ground, clearing more of these lava pools with endless amounts of sand and cobblestone. This definitely wasn't the most efficient method, so I flew back to the storage system to collect some bamboo before throwing it to Jordan for him to craft it all into scaffolding. Somehow we'd forgotten we had this huge bamboo farm, so we grabbed extras from there and Jordan then showed off how much he crafted. Whilst he made more, I went to get some gold to craft golden carrots, but we have almost none. I wonder what we should make soon. This is also the first time in this world where I'm in my new skin, so hey, what do you guys think? It was then time to start up the machine again to let it blow up the rest of this 100 by 100 area. And whilst it was going ham, we placed cobble at Y level 0 to even out the ground. At the end of day 809, it was time to put a stop to the machine as it had finally decimated this 100 by 100 area all the way down to Y level 0. All of day 810 was spent clearing up lava and leveling out the ground. After the lava sources were completely covered on day 811, I pulled out my backpack and placed a bunch of TNT. Jordan set it all off whilst I was still placing. I think he might have been trying to kill me, guys. After that small piece of demolition, we placed torches down in a very organized fashion to prevent mobs from spawning. And once that was complete, it was time to clear out our inventories of all the junk. Our food supply was now very low. We have loads of carrots, but literally no gold at all. In the meantime, we were back on baked potatoes. Jordan placed down some shulker boxes and we started gathering materials such as trapdoors and dirt, then trading sticks and pumpkins for emeralds with the villagers. And I came to realize that we could have just traded emeralds for golden carrots. Oh well, let's make a better gold farm anyway. Name tags were next, followed by hoppers, and we need 96 minecarts, and there's just not enough iron here to do it. These were the chests so far. What we needed now was our 96 minecarts and 5,708 magma blocks. Not too many. So we flew on over to the iron farm. When we got through, we remembered that we brought a llama through in the last 100 days. Why? I don't know. But we checked the chest to see how much we had awaiting us, and we were pretty happy with the amount that there was. So we put the shulker boxes down and began crafting an obscene amount of minecarts, over 7 shulkers full, which might be a bit overkill, but oh well, it's done now. Sand was up next on the list as we needed a load of glass, so we absolutely destroyed a chunk of this desert, shoveling it all up through the day into the night, and we managed to fill our invents and 4 shulker boxes. We were back home on day 816 with so much sand, way more than we needed. It's better to have too much than not enough. Our tools were in need of repair, so we hopped through the end portal and started boxing up the Enderman, who honestly didn't stand a chance. Our PvP skills were just too elite. And once everything was back to max durability, we flew back to the main island and back through the portal. We now had every material apart from the magma blocks, so we spent the next few days grinding it out. And to be fair, some of the clusters we were finding had so many blocks in them, so it didn't take us as long as we thought it might have. Once we were pretty sure that we had enough, we went on over to our brand new mega smelter and gave it its first true task of smelting 2 shulkers full of sand. After a full day of waiting, the whole lot was smelted into glass, and I probably didn't even need to spend an entire day waiting. Now everything was finally ready. It was to the nether. We were now in the nether hub, and it reminded us of our custom mountain, which we would one day need to finish. One day, maybe. I accidentally found the old gold farm when looking for the nether waste biome, and it ended up being one of these biomes right near our nether hub, in the opposite direction of the old gold farm, which was ideal. But there was no time to waste. Let's get to work on our brand new mega gold XP farm. To finish the build of this farm, we placed down some trapdoors, and while Jordan worked on the collection area of the farm, it was my task to rename 4 name tags, so I thought I'd choose 4 of my favorite comments from 800 days. Leave a nice comment on this video and I might choose yours in our 1000 days special episode. The last thing to do was name the pigmen in the corners. While I was doing that, Jordan accidentally attacked one of the zombie pigmen way too early and started training them around, which was pretty funny to see. When everything was ready and in position, Jordan aggravated the zombie pigmen and we AFK'd the gold farm from day 830 to day 830 activity free, test it out and see how much loot we would get. Those 3 days flew by, and it was now time to check the loot. If any of you guys want a gold sword, by the way, we withdrew all of the gold, knowing that we'd need to come back and filter this to gold ingots and golden nuggets only, then turn the gold nuggets into ingots, and this is what we ended up with. Not too bad at all. We forgot to take down the scaffolding, and it was really satisfying to watch. But not as satisfying as the amazing taste of G Fuel. Use code Chaza at checkout for discount. Let's go! And as the sun was setting on day 834, we flew back to the storage system to drop off our gold. I put away my remaining baked potatoes, grabbed some carrots, and began crafting a good amount of golden ones. Topped up our golden carrot chest with a healthy amount, but pretty soon we'd be needing more regular carrots. In the meantime, Jordan threw some materials into a shulker box, but he forgot a lava bucket. So while he was away getting that, I was thinking about how boring the regular totem of undying looks. Much better. Jordan arrived back with the lava bucket. With my new look totem in hand, we headed back into the nether. The whole farm actually looked really cool from far away, but it's a shame that the contents of the chest didn't. So to solve that, we started throwing out all of the rubbish that wasn't golden nuggets or golden ingots. It was taking a while to do, so Jordan decided he had other ideas, and he wasn't done there either. He just kept going. I quickly jumped back through to the overworld to grab some essentials such as wood, iron to make hoppers, and fireworks, as we were getting through them pretty rapidly. And once I arrived back at the farm, we made a new glass platform, one level below our current one, placed down some hoppers, redstoned it all up, and added in filter blocks before provoking zombie pigmen, as we needed both golden nuggets and ingots for the filtering system. Once all of that was done, we gave it a quick test run, and it seemed to all run pretty smoothly. When the pigmen die, the hoppers pick up all of the loot, and the chests only collect the gold, with everything else traveling further through and being swiftly ejected into lava to dispose of them. After a lot of hard work, that's us now done with the gold farm, and overall, we are really happy with it. Is this the best gold farm you've ever seen? Let us know in the comments. When traveling back home, we were flying over our villager farms, and it helped us to remember that we actually did have a working carrot farm, even if the production rates weren't the best. As you can see, these villagers just weren't working hard enough. So once again, we grabbed a bunch of shulker boxes, spent the rest of the day gathering and crafting an absolute ton of materials, as we were going to make this thing huge. And after a day and a half of material gathering, we were ready to rock and roll. We got a good night's rest in before a number of upcoming days of hard work, set all of the shulker boxes up, and began our next big project of making these villager crop farms even bigger. Days 840 to 844 was spent building the second layer and redesigning the first, which honestly took longer than it should have, but I'm sure that the next 3 layers won't take anywhere near as long. We put new hopper minecarts in place for the villagers to throw the crops into, and then one by one started transporting the villagers inside. And by the end of day 845, they were all in place. From day 846 to 849, we worked on building the next 3 additional layers, and once this is built, we're going to get some insane production rates. We were now on day 850 with the whole thing built. Now we just need people who are going to do the work for us. This is what it looks like before the villagers, and now with them. Trust me, that took a lot longer on our end. Before doing an AFK test on this new farm, we cleared out the chests at the bottom, and there was already an insane amount of stuff in here, but we wanted to see how much we could get from an AFK session. So for literally like not even half a Minecraft day, which was like maybe 10 minutes if that, I stood there and AFK'd the villager farm, and whilst doing this, Jordan also AFK'd the gunpowder farm. But as it turned to nighttime, we came down below, checked the chests, and we were pleasantly surprised. We got all of this just from 10 minutes. But we were now wealthy with our carrot supply compared to what we were, and we also had a lot of gold too. So I put the two together and started crafting golden carrots, and this is our new golden carrot supply. Jordan brought the gunpowder back, and he was looking in the direction of the crafting bench, which could only mean one thing: TNT. We already had over 4 stacks of TNT in my shulker box, and then Jordan added the stacks that he crafted. When I mined the shulker box, Jordan accidentally picked it up, and just him holding that many explosives made me very nervous. So with 595 TNT at our disposal, we wanted to see how much netherite we could get from it and to have some fun. So we set a challenge of who could get the most. We began by mining down to Y level 12. We were hoping this would keep us away from any lava pools, but I mean, we are in the nether, what can you do? And we then started mining separate ways in a straight line for our TNT trail. Jordan ran into a huge lava pool, so we worked together, with him taking the TNT and myself mining the tunnel. As we were placing on day 853, a section blew up by itself, and we didn't catch it on camera. It wasn't the whole thing, so that's okay. We didn't have much TNT left to place, so we made a little mini explosion. And then after that, we set off the rest. We were ready for our competition, but there was just one thing standing in our way. And remember guys, this is hardcore. Our quest of 1,000 days could all be over if one of these wipe us out. Tunnel was cleared, and it was time to get going. We both ran down and started mining ancient debris, and Jordan took a left turn as I took a right, and that pretty much sums up the whole challenge. I was finding no ancient debris, and I clearly took the wrong direction, because on day 854, I had a total of 9 ancient debris, and when Jordan showed me his, he collected 21. I can't lie, I did feel upset that I went the wrong way, but Jordan was definitely suspicious. So everyone type Jordan sus in the comments, just so he knows we're onto him. We then went mining individually for 6 more ancient debris, as after smelting them and combining them with gold, we'd have enough for another block. And for some reason, when it wasn't part of a challenge, I started finding so much ancient debris. It was actually crazy. And I had 7 pieces of ancient debris before Jordan found just 1. I guess I'm not such a failure after all. On the way back, we both mined at the sides at the same time to see if we would get any more, and Jordan did actually end up finding another piece, followed by me getting lucky finding a vein of 2. But soon after, we had to stop as we'd come so far and our pickaxes were not going to survive for much longer. We finally found a portal to get back home, and altogether we'd gotten 42 ancient debris, and it looks like we got back just in time for sunrise on day 856. We dropped off all the netherrack from our inventories, and we then went to put the ancient debris into the super smelter, and it was rapid as always. Just look how fast it is. It was then time to go back into the nether to go to the gold farm, and I ambushed this zombie pigman to get this thing started. Quite literally 60 seconds later, we were all repaired and had 64 gold ingots. So when we got back into the overworld, we flew over to the storage where I made some netherite ingots and then crafted a block. I ran over to the 2 previously placed ones and placed it to make a staircase. Maybe the most expensive staircase you've ever seen in Minecraft. And talking of staircases, we couldn't help but notice that the one outside the storage room we built was really bright. So it was time to change it. Jordan gave me all the materials for the stairs, maybe too many, but through day 856 and 857, we completely redesigned the staircase, giving it a different look to fit in with our village. And once we completed it, the design felt so much nicer and it wasn't so harsh on the eyes. Day 858 was another boring one, as we spent literally the whole day gathering materials, and we knew you didn't want to see that. On day 859, we began terraforming the hill opposite the smelter building, followed by a bit more terraforming, and it wasn't until the stars came out that we had finally finished terraforming. There was no point of sleeping as it was about to be sunrise, so we grabbed our shulker boxes and then placed them down as it was daylight. We used some concrete to map out the build and began building on top of the concrete. We then spent the next 5 days working on this brand new build. It was kind of tedious and it was a bit different, but we tried to make it the same style of theme. But the main reason we wanted it was because it had a little bridge with a little pass through, so we could eventually make a pathway go through it and lead to other things. And I mean, we weren't overly happy with the way it looked, so we tried it out with some stripped spruce logs on the tower to match our other buildings, and eventually we ran out. So you know what that means. Deforestation. We went tree chopping for the rest of the day, taking down this spruce forest, and we got almost 2 rows of stacks of spruce logs. The next task was then to reskin the oak wood to spruce wood, and I guess the upside of this would be that we get a load of oak wood in return. But by the end of the day, it was all reskinned, and maybe we could add a few more features, but we didn't want to spend too long on this, so we just left it how it was for now. We then worked on the pathways going up the hill and worked through the night into the morning, and the next day Jordan started building a wall around the entrance, and it actually really worked. We quite liked it. Whilst he was working on this, I added in our signature street lamps. and the extension of the pathway was now complete. Even though we fly everywhere with our elytras, having pathways everywhere just makes the place feel much better. Whilst we were working on all of this, it made me wonder, were the villagers working too? After clearing out our inventories, we checked up on how hard they'd all been working, and oh my, that is so much! The production rates of this farm are absolutely crazy. I think it's safe to say we're going to need a few more shulkers for this. Our new iron farm was also just behind the villagers, so it made us wonder if that was working too. We headed on over to the iron farm, and it's safe to say that it was also working. So we started crafting blocks out of the ingots, and after clearing out, we had 2 shulkers full of poppies and almost a shulker full of iron blocks. Our farms are crazy. The next morning, we put the iron into the right chests, and we collected some more shulker boxes before flying back to the crop farms, and we were just blown away, like seriously blown away with the amount of crops that we had. We started putting the carrots into the carrots chest, but we very quickly ran out of room, so we had to put them in vacant chests for now. We then filled up the shulkers with potatoes until Jordan arrived with some spare shulkers, which we definitely needed, and we had the idea to trade as many of these crops as possible before storing them away, because we could at least get some emeralds out of them all. But unfortunately, we didn't have that many farmer villagers, which meant that we had to put them all away anyway. We then decided to fill 2 shulkers up again with potatoes and had another idea of how to dispose of them. We placed a load of beds down covering 90% of the floor inside the breeding room in our village trading hall, and we then went to sleep. When we all woke up, we made it rain as if it was Christmas morning for these villagers, and we'll be back in about 10 days to see just how many baby villagers they produce. Leave a comment with a guess on how many there'll be. Let's see how many of you can get it right. Next up, I had the idea of putting some pixel art up above our villager farm and also our gunpowder farm, putting icons of what they were above them. For those, we would need wool, which means that making a farm next to the villagers would hopefully AFK both at the same time when we're nearby, along with the iron farm too. So we got cracking on getting the materials for the farm, and it's a good job we had loads of iron because we needed so many shears. Luckily for us, this farm was really easy to build and it didn't take us long at all. I was rudely interrupted by zombies whilst trying to put shears into the dispensers. The next morning, I continued to fill the dispensers with shears. Now that they were all full, it was time to bring over our first victim. I mean sheep. Jordan then brought over sheep number 2, and it didn't take long at all for them to produce as another. Whilst Jordan worked on getting loads of sheep, I went out to get some flowers for dye, and luckily there was a decent selection of colours nearby. I then went to mine some cactus for a green dye, and transformed all of the flowers into dyes. Wow, I said dyes way too many times there. We then took this innocent squid's life, and whilst I did all of this, Jordan had started a little sheep family. If only they knew what they were getting into. I was now only 1 dye away from the complete collection, so I flew off into the distance in search of cocoa beans, and I eventually found them. So now I can make brown dye. After sleeping, I came back the next morning with the brown dye, and I had every possible color. Jordan chucked me a lead, and it was time to get these sheep into their pods. It was surprisingly easier than we thought, but we realized that we'd made the mistake of putting shears in before coloring them. So we had to remove all of the shears, let them grow their wool, and then give them a different color. I went through and colored all of the sheep, and it looked really nice when they were in order. And it'll look even better when we change this regular glass to match the color of the sheep. When I got back here on day 874, this big fella seemed like he wanted a hug. I don't know how rare these are, but I did kind of want to keep him anyway. So I flew to the storage system, crafted a boat, made a relatively accurate name tag, but when I got back, he was nowhere to be seen. Sad times. Now was the time to add shears to the dispensers. As you can see, barely any of the sheep had wool, so it was up and running already. But we had to wait for more wool, as we needed a healthy amount, but we didn't want to just AFK, so we decided we'd do some meaningless tasks in the area instead. I whipped out the stone cutter and made some deep slate bricks, and we got to work on redesigning this little sheep farm. I added wool underneath the glass to make it look even better, and I then added in some sea lanterns and put carpets over all of them, and because that didn't take us long, we also changed the glass on the bamboo farm to make it match with everything else. We then found out that the sheep weren't doing anything during all of this, and we realized that we were just completely stupid. It was a pretty quick fix. We just removed all of the sea lanterns and the carpet, but we still needed wool. So I decided to take one for the team, drowning my ears with these sheep's groans. I AFK'd until day 881, and these were the results of the production so far. So we definitely had enough for what we wanted to do now. The sheep had worked hard, apart from this one. I tried killing it, but Jordan stopped me, and he made a multicolored sheep. He said this has been a thing for ages, but who else didn't know what this was? Let me know in the comments. We grabbed some of the wool, and we got to work on making a carrot pixel art. It was complete on day 883, and I'm not gonna lie, it does look better from far away, but overall, we thought it looked pretty cool. But here comes the moment you've all been waiting for. It was finally time to check on the villagers to see how busy they've been getting. And well, it turns out they were pretty busy. We came out of the villager trading hall, and it was nice to look around and see other buildings. It made it feel like more of a village, but this area didn't have anything there yet. And with loads of land, why not build something huge here? So we laid down some shulker boxes once again for materials for the 1000th time this series. And once again, we were material gathering through the day and the night until day 884, where all the materials were ready, and we actually only needed 2 shulker boxes. The rest was a bit overkill. We placed a poppy to mark where we wanted the entrance of the build, and if we were being honest, the land wasn't great for building, so a bit of terraforming and grass cutting was needed. Once the ground was level and it was good for building, we spent the next number of days building an entrance for our castle. On day 890, I got some more materials from the storage room, and we started taking down the walls that we built, not because we didn't like it, just so we could texture it. And let me tell you, by adding a bit of stone, cobblestone, and andesite, along with the stone brick, it makes the whole build look so much better. The next morning, we color coordinated our shulker boxes, but we needed some more resources to put inside of them. We required a lot of smooth sandstone, which means that we need 4 times the amount of sand before smelting the sandstone. That's a lot of maths, so I just trusted Jordan when he said we needed a certain amount. We used the sand that we had already, and actually, we weren't that far off at all. I ran back over to the super smelter and put the sandstone inside, and this clip is not sped up. The speed of this thing still baffles me to this day. Just like that, the first batch was ready. Jordan started smelting his sandstone too, and now we had loads ready. It was time to get back to building. Soon after, we did have to go to sleep though, because phantoms came out to play. They're definitely the most annoying mob in the game. But the next 4 days were spent building the walls for this castle, and let me just tell you, once this thing is done, it's going to look insane. Maybe the best build we've done so far that isn't a farm. We started running out of room, and there was a big hill in the middle of where we were going to build. So day 896 started off with a lot of terraforming, and we were terraforming until my shovel got dangerously close to breaking. So to repair them, we hopped on over to the gold farm, AFK'd the gold farm, and literally moments later, my tools were back to full durability. On day 897, we built up the corner towers as well as the walls around the back. The next task was to extend the walkways, and whilst I did this, Jordan dropped me off a care package of more materials and fireworks as we were burning through them very quickly. The next parts were a bit more particular, but we ended up building the first staircase around the back and filled in the floor around it. After working through the night, we then built another huge pillar. And when I say huge, this thing genuinely was pretty big. And after building that, we decided to call it a day for the castle so far, but it was coming along pretty well already. Jordan said that we were low on rockets, so I AFK'd the gunpowder farm for fireworks that we could use to get around, then spend the day crafting other types of fireworks and loading up dispensers. But once we'd done that, we had officially survived 900 days of hardcore Minecraft. So to celebrate, we set up this amazing firework display right above our massive crater, which we're going to use for something special in the 1000 day special. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I know that you're definitely going to love this video right here.